Today we're going to talk about the major signs that you can tell that your ex is still in love with you. Now, I've done a lot of different variations of this video, but I figured I'd update it for 2023. So let's just jump right into it. Sign number one, your ex is going to find reasons to text you, and sometimes those reasons will be ridiculous. So I figured I'd start off by telling you a story. A couple of years ago, I was working with a client who found herself in a really difficult position. The ex broke up with her, I love you, but I'm not in love with you, and she was just frantically trying to figure out how she can bridge the gap and recover this relationship. So I did what I always do. I recommended the value ladder and coming into the community and finding ways to hold yourself accountable and things of that nature, healing, be content without them. Strangely enough though, when my client was in the middle of the no contact rule, her birthday happened to fall in the middle of that no contact rule. And she received this text. Hey, I got a birthday present for Rocky. Now you may be wondering who Rocky is. Well, Rocky was none other than her pet, her dog. Her ex texts her on her birthday about buying a present, not for her birthday, but for her dog on her birthday. It's absolutely ridiculous, right? But here's the thing. We even noticed that exes who still seem to be in love with you or still seem to harbor feelings for you will find reasons to text you even if those reasons are ridiculous. Sign number two, your ex will start to invest more time into you. So if you've been an avid watcher of my YouTube channel, you'll probably have heard me talk about something called the interdependence theory. Basically, this theory posits that human beings commit to one another based on costs and benefits. We're always looking for the best deal. We're always looking for a relationship that we can get into that has more benefits than it has costs. But how do we measure those benefits and costs? Well, usually there are three specific criteria. Satisfaction, how satisfied you are in the relationship. Alternatives, is there a better alternative out there than the person that you're with? And finally, investment, how much time, money, energy, emotions have you spent investing into this one person? But when researchers were really trying to understand the interdependence theory, the one thing that kept coming up was they found that people who were in unhappy relationships who sat there and thought that they could find a better alternatives would still stay in the relationship. Now, why is that? Well, it's because they don't want their time invested into that potentially failing relationship to not be worth anything. So they will continue to stay in a relationship if they have invested into that person for a long period of time, even if they're unsatisfied and even if they feel like they could find someone else that's better. So here's the thing. We're going to flip it on its head. If you're dealing with an ex after a breakup, but they're investing a ton of time, energy, emotions, money into you, that's usually a very good sign. Sign number three, your ex may reach out to your friends or family. So when I was 19 years old, I went through my very first breakup, and I wouldn't exactly classify this breakup as amicable. It was my first breakup ever. I had never felt these kind of emotions before. I was devastated, even though I was the one to break up with her. I didn't have any outlet to talk to anyone about the emotions that I was feeling during the breakup. My best friend at the time was, quite frankly, tired of hearing me complain, and really I didn't feel comfortable with my family telling them like, oh yeah, I'm devastated by this breakup. So I did the one thing that you're not supposed to do. I contacted my ex's very best friend and spent 3 hours on the phone with her, basically vomiting my emotions up, of which that best friend then went and told my ex, and that's a whole different story. But here's the thing. When your ex and you go through a breakup and they're hurting very deeply and they don't feel they have a good outlet through friends, family, or even community, sometimes what you'll find they'll do is they will reach out to your friends and not necessarily talk about you, but talk about how they're feeling about the breakup, almost trying to get your friends on their side. This is generally a good sign because here's the one thing I didn't tell you about my personal story. At the time that I was doing this, that I was contacting her very best friend, I wanted my ex back very badly. I would have done anything to get her back, but I had a stubbornness, I had a pride. Rather than basically contacting her and saying, hey, I made a mistake, can we work this out? I kind of thought I would make her beg for me back because I was the one that broke up with her, which is kind of a ridiculous, warped way of thinking, but I'm sharing this story with you so that you can understand exes who break up with you have sometimes very ridiculous and warped way of thinking, and they'll use your friends to get it in with you. Sign number 4, your ex is buying gifts for you.